There are multiple ways to create a virtual machine. Using the first method, there is a technology called cloning. Wait. There are different methods available. Okay, total five methods are there to create a virtual machine. Output of any of these tasks will be a virtual computer. But if anybody like a application team or project manager needs a virtual machine, he will give you the information about virtual machine name, what OS you need, how much of RAM you need, many CPUs, hard disk, and network sometime. So they will give you this much information to create a virtual machine. If you need a virtual machine, he will give you this information. If not, you have to ask him for this information and get it. Then we start creating a virtual machine. We need a virtual machine name, how you want to name. There will be a specific naming convention for every virtual machine. Okay, just an example. Okay, so while looking at the server name itself, you can understand what purpose it is used, where it is located. Okay, like so first three letters, the city name. Second three letters, functionality of the application inside that machine, whether it is a physical machine or virtual machine, and sequence of the machine. So it's not like that the same format will be used by everybody. Okay? The naming standards will be different in company to company. So whatever the naming standard they are using, we have to follow that. And here you don't need to worry. This name will be provided by the project manager. Okay, or at least he will give you some clue like what purpose he will use. Then based on that, we can. Let's say if there is SAP VM is already available, he will say like I'm creating this. I don't know the naming convention. I need a virtual machine for SAP functionality. You will check. So in the list, vCenter list, these are the up to 09 is created. So you will create it as 10. Like so, naming convention will be different. Okay? Depends on the company how they have decided. You cannot judge from like even if you experience one naming convention in one company, and if you go to next company, that will be different again. Okay, so right. So if anybody wants a virtual machine, he will give you a request with these specifications, and with these specifications, we can create a virtual machine using all the five methods. But which method we will prefer, and we'll see that. Okay. First method, we'll try to understand how to create a virtual machine if you get a request to build a virtual machine. The host or vCenter, either way.
Hello, sir. These are all physical instruments only, no, sir? HDD,
Which one?
CPU, RAM, and all for creating VM.
No, virtual. These are work for
Virtual.
virtual machine. Everything will be virtual.
Okay,
Virtual
sir.
RAM, virtual CPU, virtual hard disk.
Okay, sir.
I mean, before going to create a virtual machine, so may I know, no? I mean, who will install ESXi OS in physical server? How do we do that?
Yeah. Okay. So that will be done by us only. We will do in the next lab after creating all these virtual machines. Next thing will be how to create an ESXi machine.
Okay, Anna, thanks.
Yeah. So if customer purchases a physical server, we will install the ESXi operating system here on top of it. This will be a physical machine, right? So it will have let's say 100 GB RAM, Xeon CPU, terabyte local hard disk. Okay. So the ESXi installation on the physical server will be the next lab after completing all the 5 methods. Then we will discuss later. Okay. So right now we are going. Excuse me. We are going to build a virtual machine on top of the existing ESXi host. Okay. Log into the VC. Select the ESXi machine. Right click on it. R/C is right click on your mouse. Once you select that object ESXi, right click on it. Okay. Create virtual machine. Enter a name for it. Select compatibility. Select OS, storage. You have to select RAM, CPU, hard disk, network. You can do it later. Okay. So if you follow this navigation, okay, here, whichever I have mentioned here, if you follow this navigation, it will create a virtual computer here. Whatever the name that you have entered here, with that name it will be created. In the backend, automatically a folder will be created with the same name. So let's say here I have named it as VM45. So here also it will be 45 will be created. Inside that .vmx, vmdk, nvram, all the files will be automatically created. Okay. So and all those files plus RAM and CPU from the ESXi together makes a virtual machine. So here it will have 4 GB virtual RAM, 4 virtual CPUs, will take 20 GB virtual hard disk. Okay, with these specifications, we will create a virtual machine now. 4 CPU, 4 GB RAM, 20 GB hard disk, and OS will be Windows Server 2016. Okay. So they have given this information as VM45, Windows Server 2016, 4 GB RAM, 4 CPU, and 20 GB C drive. Okay, with this specification, they have asked us to create a virtual machine now. So now we'll create it. So I'm powering on the vCenter, just it will take 5 to 10 minutes. Okay, let it wait. So first, if you follow this navigation, it will create a virtual computer and there will be no OS inside this virtual machine. OS will not be there. Okay. Inside this machine, it will create a virtual machine to install this OS properly. Okay. Virtual computer with some specifications to install this OS properly. And now we have to install a operating system inside this virtual machine. Okay. Once you create a virtual machine, it will be equivalent to your laptop without any operating system. If you want to work with that machine, you need to install an operating system, Windows or Linux. Okay. So now, how to install an operating system is a secondary thing. Once you create a VM. So how many of you have experience of installing any operating system, Windows or Linux, server, client, anything? How many of you have experience with OS installation, laptop or server, whatever it may be, and any OS it may be? Just raise your hand. I'll come to know how many of you are aware. If you are aware, just raise your hand. How to install any Windows OS or Linux, either physical, laptop, desktop. Only one? Only two people know that how to install OS. Fine. Not a problem. Even if you are not aware, that's not an issue. Okay. We will do during this lab, and you practice this until you get confidence. Twice, thrice, like how many times, if you can manage properly, you try to do this. And nowadays, OS installation is very easy. It's kind of yes or no questions only. If you want to install further, click next, next, and finish. Okay. Otherwise, cancel button only will be there. Very simple. Installation only will be there. We'll see that. But if you see physical machine, right? So the OS installation, we are aware if it is a laptop or desktop, we will insert the OS drive here. We will have a physical CD and it will have the content of OS installable operating system files. Take this physical CD, insert on the physical CD DVD RAM of the physical computer, laptop, server, whatever it is. Okay. Insert it on the physical CD DVD drive. And then once you power on this computer, the OS installation will start from this CD to this computer. That we have experienced. Or at least USB. It's the same procedure. Okay. So with the CD, we will install it on this physical machine, whether it is ESXi, Windows or Linux, whatever it may be. We know that procedure. Insert physical CD drive or USB drive. From that USB or a CD drive, we will install inside that same physical machine. Now, we need to go with CD and insert it on the physical CD DVD ROM of the physical server. Okay, so you cannot directly go there because the server is in UK or US, wherever it is customer located, it will be there. It's not possible to directly go and insert it here. So whoever is available there to handle these physical servers, we will ask them to insert it here. They will insert. After some time, you need to do the same thing on another ES6i machine. You need to ask him to insert it here. And after some time here, you need to install Linux machine. Ask him to insert Linux CD here. It's not feasible option. Always go with CD and insert in here and there. So that's why there is another option. Whatever the content of operating system files inside this CD DVD RAM. Okay. So will be copied into a file called .iso. Extension will be .iso. Name can be anything. Windows Server 2016 or 2019. Name can be anything. The extension will be .iso. It will have installable operating system files. Fine. So whatever the content it was there on physical CD DVD ROM will be copied into a file. Okay. And this file will be copied into this ESXi local hard disk. Here it will be placed. Now using this ISO image, we can attach it to the virtual machine and install the operating system. The file can be attached to the virtual machine and install the operating system inside the virtual machine. Okay, using an ISO. This we no need to ask anybody. We can copy here and there anytime. Okay. Fine. So there are two options. One is insert physical CD DVD drive here, and insert from the ISO we can install. So this is not feasible option. Go with physical CD DVD drive. We always prefer using ISO. We can copy anywhere to anywhere and we can use it without asking anybody. So normally in day-to-day job, use the second method using ISO. Okay, one is using a physical CD/DVD drive. Second one is using an ISO image. Okay, I'll show you how it looks like. So using CD DVD image attached to the virtual machine, then power on the virtual machine, install the operating system. Okay, we'll practice this now. We'll see if our vCenter is up. Takes a minute, it's still coming up. Okay. Meanwhile, if you have any questions, you can let me know up to here. All clear? So we'll wait a minute, it will come up. We just powered on, right? It is still taking time to load the vCenter application. We see. Okay, so we are connected to the vCenter now, and we will select one of the ESXi machine, and here is the ESXi machine. We'll create a virtual machine here. So right click on it, new virtual machine. There are multiple ways we are creating using the new virtual machine. Okay, create first method. Okay, so here we have to enter the name. So here you have to check whatever the information they have provided. VM45. So do not give any spaces in between the names. It should be continuous. Okay. Don't use space in the server names now. It's already there. It's in different name. And where you want to place? I want to place it on the ESXi. Wherever you have enough free space, select it. So here is the compatibility. Okay. So if nobody mentioned like select older version of virtual machine, you have to always select latest version. If you select 6.5 or latest, it is showing hardware version 13. Even though there is 7.0 in the market, why it is not showing here? Our ESXi in our lab is 6.5. That's why it's showing 6.5 compatible only. If you have ESXi 7.0, it will show 7.0 latest one. So here the compatibility depends on the ESXi you have in your vCenter. It's a 6.5. That's why it's showing 6.5. Or later versions also it will support. Okay. You can build lower versions or higher versions. But with the hardware version maximum it supports 13 only. Next. What OS you need? Here they have asked us to install Windows Server 2016. Okay, drop down here, select Windows. Here drop down all the operating systems from the day one when the Windows operating system was born. All will be supported here. Okay, up to 6.5. If you want Windows Server 2022, you need to have latest ESXi also. That will support 2022. Otherwise, maximum it will be 2019 year. Even they are saying later, that means 2019 also supported. If it is a Linux, select Linux. All the Linux operating systems will be available here. Okay. And even if it is not Windows or not Linux, then select other. You can see all other vendor operating systems. Okay. Apple, Samsung, Alice, Oracle, whatever it is. Different operating systems. Select it. We want to install 2016. Okay. Next. How many CPUs, RAM, and hard disk? We want to install. We want to have like 4 CPUs, 4 GB RAM, and 20 GB hard disk. Hard disk expand here. Always select thin provision here. Disk provisioning, thin provisioning. I'll explain you later what is thick and thin later. As of now, when you are creating any virtual machine, always make it thin provision. RAM, CPU, and hard disk. Next. Finish. So we have created a virtual machine called VM49. 49. Okay. But there is no OS installed. We have selected to install 2016, but it is not installed yet. We have created a virtual machine to install this OS so that it will work properly. Okay. So now we have to install the same OS. If you try to install different OS, there will be some issues later. You can't expect like what kind of issues it will trigger later. Okay, you have to install same OS only now. So now using the first navigation, we have created a virtual machine. Now this is equivalent to your physical computer without any operating system. Okay, laptop or desktop or server, whatever it is, with 4 GB RAM, 4 CPUs, it is equivalent to that, but without operating system. Now we need to install operating system. There are two ways to install operating system. One is using physical DVD-ROM. You have to go to the server and insert the physical CD DVD ROM there. Once it is inserted there, now you go to virtual machine, select the virtual machine, right click on it on your mouse. Okay, you will see an option called edit settings. Click on it. Here you can see the virtual machine hardware. That means virtual machine hardware specifications can be found here. virtual CPU, virtual memory, virtual hard disk, virtual network adapter, virtual CD DVD ROM. All the components are virtual hardware. So if you see here, this physical computer has physical resources, physical RAM, physical CPU, physical hard disk, physical CD DVD ROM, everything. But virtual machine has virtual RAM, virtual CPU, virtual hard disk, virtual network adapter, virtual CD DVD ROM, everything virtual hardware component will be there that you can access from the virtual machine. Right click, edit settings. Okay, so here is the CD DVD ROM. Drop down, select host device. That means you are using physical CD DVD ROM connecting to the virtual machine, virtual CD DVD ROM. ఇక్కడ ఉన్న ఫిజికల్ డివిడీని వర్చువల్ మెషిన్ కి అటాచ్ చేస్తున్నాం. Now you power on the VM, OS installation will start. But you need to go and insert it here. In our lab, we did not insert as of now. This will not work. If you go on physical with the physical CD, insert it on the physical CD DVD ROM, it will work. Okay. So we are not following this in real time. Also, we don't use it. If you want, that is the procedure. If you want to. Other method, ISO image. You have to select data store ISO. Select it. It will open a new window. Where is that ISO image? It is in data store 1. Select it. Drop down. Here you can see Windows Server 2016 operating system, 2016, 2012. All the operating systems that you need or which is used by your organization at least will be there in the hard disk location. Okay, 2016. Click on OK and make sure it is connected. If you are not connected, even though you browse and select correctly, if it is not connected, it will not work. Okay, so you have to make sure it is connected, enabled. Connected option is enabled. Click on OK. Now we have attached the ISO image from the hard disk to the virtual machine, virtual CD DVD ROM. Now if you power on, OS installation will start from this ISO image to the virtual machine. Okay, so in real time we do this. Now here is the shortcut. You can click on power on here or right click, power on also you can use. Power on. Whatever the task that you are performing, that you can see here in the recent taskbar. Power on virtual machine VM49 at 66%, still in progress. Initiated by administrator. Okay, now it is powered on. If you want to see its monitor, right click, open remote console. For that, you need to install some small software in your laptop to open its monitor. Otherwise, here also the same option will be the remote console. For that, you need to download and install that remote console software from VMware website. Okay, I'll download and keep it in the machine. You can download it to your laptops if needed. Otherwise, very easy option, click launch web console. You don't need to install anything. Directly using a web browser itself, you can install you can see it's a console monitor. This computer monitor you are looking here. Okay, it's a desktop. Now the OS installation will start. Windows Server 26 OS installation we are performing. It's very simple. Even if you are the first time user, if you read this option, it's kind of only we left with two options. One is proceed with next by clicking next option or cancel by closing this window. Okay, only two options. Fine. So language pack to install. United English. Okay, that lets it be the same thing. We don't want to change anything. Our keyboard layouts are always US layout keyboards. Okay. So next, so here if you select Windows 2012 or older OS, this mouse will not work. Okay, you have to depend on keyboard only. 2012 or older versions, 2008, 2012, and even before operating system. 2016, 19, and 22 mouse will work. Okay, So because of drivers, video drivers are not included in the OS, mouse will not work. If video drivers are included, mouse will work. So then how to use keyboard? You have to depend on tab on your keypad, okay, keyboard, or shortcut like Alt plus N. How can I say N? Here, if you see next button, there is one letter underlined. Okay, N is underlined. So you have to press Alt and N together at a time. So I'm not using mouse now. I'm using shortcut now. Alt plus N together. It will take next. Now you tell me like which is the shortcut I have to use? Alt plus remote. Which what is the shortcut I have to use? Alt plus no one.
I.
I. So the letter I is underlined here. You have to press Alt plus I together. Okay. So if anyone has not installed any OS ever, right? You can practice this session like until you get confident. And here you need some basic understanding. There are four versions, okay, four flavors. Okay, within 2016 itself, four different flavors are there. Standard evolution with the desktop experience. Forget about evolution. Evolution is nothing but trial period. Standard desktop experience, standard empty, data center desktop experience. If you select just plain, the main difference between standard and data center is few business applications will work with data center edition only. Data center edition will have extra information than standard edition. Few websites, few applications will work with data center edition only. In that case, they will specially mention here Windows Server 2016 data center edition or standard STD standard. Okay, STD will be mentioned here, standard or data center. Okay, you don't need to worry about it. If you are not sure, then you can ask them also. Not a problem. Or at least first you check with your teammates. What is the standard OS we use? Either standard version or data center. Normally, which one we use? If they say like you have to check with requester, check with the requester. Standard or data center. Depends. And also that we understood now, standard versus data center. It will have some extra information. Very few business applications need this. Otherwise, many of them normally work with standard itself. And also licensing will vary. Standard will be less costlier, data center will be more costlier. Fine. And then there are two more things. One is blank, another one is desktop experience. So we always have to select desktop experience until unless they are mentioning server core. So even though if it is Windows developed by Microsoft, they have one more flavor called server core. It's kind of Linux. Windows only, but Linux. Everything you need to work with command prompt commands only. Normal desktop it will not show. On laptop desktop ఉండదని. Server core it will be completely like a Linux machine. That's a different flavor developed by Microsoft itself. Kind of Linux flavor from Windows itself. Okay, always select desktop experience. That it will bring us normal C drive, like we can manage computer with mouse itself. Otherwise, it's like Linux machine, completely commands you have to use. It will not show you desktop also. Even e-screen would run a complete blank. Okay, you have to work with commands only. So if anyone select by mistake first one, you have to delete and install again. Okay, desktop experience. Next, I'm selecting standard and desktop experience. You can try data center desktop or standard desktop, anything is okay. Agree the license. Next, here are the two things. One, if you have older OS already, if you select this option, it will upgrade to higher version. If you select second option, it will install a fresh copy. So here we are trying to install fresh copy, right? So you have to select second option only. Okay, custom. Select the hard disk. C drive hard disk which we have attached here. Next. It will have 4 stages, out of which this stage only it will take now 15 to 20 minutes. Okay, I think 15 minutes it will happen. Wait for a moment. Meanwhile, if anyone has any questions, you can discuss now. It will take 10 to 15 minutes to install this computer. The rest of the steps it will finish up fast. No questions? You understood everything or did not understand anything? Mostly no, like if you select options correctly while creating VM, let's say while creating a virtual machine, there is a hard disk space of 100 GB, and let's say this is the hard disk, right? It has free space of, let's say right now 67 GB. If you are creating a virtual machine with 100 GB, it may fail because there is no space. Even in that case, it will not give a, I mean, while selecting this hard disk itself, it will throw you that message. There is a compatibility warning where you can see right now itself. I'll show you. At this stage, you select it, it will show green. But at the end, if you enter like 100 GB, which is beyond that free space of the disk, it will give error here itself. Okay, you can't even proceed further. Otherwise, mostly no errors. And while installing, if OS image is fine, fully downloaded, if it is not corrupted, partial image or corrupted image, it will work. If there is a healthy ISO image, there will be no issues in the OS installation also. So those are two common things. Normally, no. But that's good thinking, like what kind of errors we get during this process. So maybe in next 5 minutes it will be done. So meanwhile, I'll give steps here to attach the ISO image. Select the virtual machine, go to right click, go to edit settings, select CD/DVD, data store ISO, browse and select an ISO image, click on OK. Make sure select connected power on and click on OK. So ISO image will be attached to the virtual machine. Okay, then power on and proceed with OS installation. So with this, the first method, VM creation, will come. Tomorrow. Okay, when someone wants a virtual machine, they will give the specifications. You don't need to worry about like which OS to select, how much RAM to give. Whoever is requesting you to create a virtual machine, they will provide this information. Good questions. vSphere client is the very older one. Okay, it is not available now. It is a .NET based client developed by VMware, vSphere client. The icon used to be like this on a desktop. If you see, there used to be a .NET based icon like this butterfly icon. Here you see next to vSphere, right? Like so it's very old. It's not available now anymore. That is different, and web client is different. Okay, it used to be like this. On your laptop, there used to be the butterfly icon. Once you click on it, it will open a page like this. Okay, there you enter vCenter name, IP, username, and password. It used to log in to a .NET based client. Now It's a web client, everything from web page itself. Here you are entering the vCenter name, username and password, it will log into this page. vSphere client is the .NET based client and which was very old. It is not available now. And web client is nothing but from web browsers, you log into the vCenter or host. That is available only now. Okay. Older version of web client is the vSphere client. It used to be dedicated. You need to install that software on your laptop to log into the vCenter. To remove that dependency, they have developed this web client. You don't need to install that .NET based application now. So from today onwards, you can start your labs, like start creating virtual machine, verify files, and install OS for today. Okay, and it will continue from today onwards. Okay, you can start working on labs. Okay, so remote people, like I have already explained, you have to use Team Viewer. Okay, you need to install an application called Team Viewer. We will share the Team Viewer ID from our end, like you can access directly as though you are sitting here. Try to install Team Viewer application in your laptop. So I'll let you. We will help you to connect to our lab and practice. You need to install Team Viewer. Let's see. So you need to install this TeamViewer application. It's not even installed. So to install, like that's whatever we are doing, right? Like almost from 15 minutes we are doing 2016, 19, 22 and all within, it will happen within 15 to 20 minutes. After this OS installation, I'll show you how to access lab from your home via TeamViewer. Wait, do not drop. It will be depends on the one physical machine, how many virtual machines. It will be depends on the RAM that you have available here. Maximum on one ESXi machine, 1024 virtual machines you can create. If you want to create 1024 virtual machines, even if you assign 1 GB RAM to the virtual machine, okay, you need 1 TB RAM on the physical server here. If you have 1 TB RAM, you can create 1024 also. Okay, it depends on RAM and CPU available here. Maximum is 1024. TeamViewer. So it will ask for password here. Enter one password. That your machine will be ready. So here, if you want to log in, you have to press Ctrl Alt Delete, but don't press Ctrl Alt Delete on your keyboard. It's wrong. If someone look at your while you are pressing like Ctrl Alt Delete, they will understand you really not worked. Okay. Here you have to press and Ctrl Alt Delete button. Press only here. Okay. So don't press it on your keyboard. The same password which we have entered just before the screen. Okay. Same password you have to log in. Now it is like exactly like any other physical computer, laptop or server with Windows Server operating system. But coming from just a virtual machine, VM49. Okay. Okay, so now the machine is ready. Same like our Windows laptop or desktop, you can see this server operating system. It just still loading with few things. Okay, see. Now same like any other physical machine. Okay, folder explorer and all. Okay. There are no drivers, that's why it's still slow. Mouse action is very slow here. If you see outside, it's very faster. If you see inside, it's very slow. Even if you see 2012 and all, mouse even will not be visible until you install the drivers. Drivers thing we will discuss separately. Okay. At the end of the 5 methods, we will discuss driver thing after these 5 methods. Okay. Until then, okay, that's about VM creation using the first method. New virtual machine. Create a new virtual machine. Fine, same like any other physical machine. Any questions?